Today we're going to cover how to use this Redken Shades EQ dupe as a toner. You can grab this brand at Sally's. It's called Generic Value Products. If you're going to duplicate this color, just make sure that the box says it's comparable to Redken Shades EQ. This line makes a lot of other colors, but those are going to require a developer. This one we're going to use with its processing solution. We've got a 9P that we're going to mix with a 10VV. These colors are mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio, and you're going to mix it with this processing solution. So you're not using a developer like 10, 20, 30, or 40. You need this solution if your box is saying comparable to Redken Shades EQ. I'll explain why towards the end of the video. Also, all the timestamps and key points are always in the description box. So again, you need this processing solution because we are not going to be lifting the hair. Redken Shades EQ does not lift the hair. It's a deposit only color. So it's just going to put color on. It's not going to change it up. So here you can see I have some new highlights in my hair and the money piece we touched up from last week. My hair is a bunch of different levels. Some of it's a 10, some of it's a 9, some of it's an 8, when we're talking about the blonde parts at least. So we've got levels in this range. The tonality of my hair is a cross between mostly yellow and a little bit of orange. This one is 10VV. That means it's a level 10 violet. So we'll do a ½ ounce of this with a ½ ounce of 9P. That's gonna bring it to 1 ounce. Violet is across from yellow on the color wheel. So when those two meet together, you have violet getting married to yellow, it neutralizes and tones it out. This 9P, you would think it stands for purple, but in the hair color world, P actually stands for opal in Redken and in this generic brand. And opal is going to be blue, more of that blue ashy gray. Blue is across from orange, so when they meet together, it cancels each other out. That's really gonna help with the bottom portion of my hair that's more so orange, where the top is yellow. So that's the reasoning why we're mixing it together. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. We have 1 ounce of hair color, so 1-to-1 is going to make this 2. And then you'll want to mix this up, put it in a bowl or a bottle. It's going to be pretty loose. It will start changing colors. It'll be a darker purple once the air starts coming in. So we've got the 10VV and the 9P. 2 different levels, 2 different tones, because my hair isn't a true 10. Remember, this isn't going to lift my hair. So if I put just a 10 on all over my hair, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed because the darker parts aren't gonna do anything, but the top will change. So the 9 is gonna kind of bring this down a little bit to make sure everything's even. It's gonna be a little bit darker, but I'd rather it be darker than bright and nothing. You can apply this on wet or dry hair. Applying it on wet hair helps you get it on faster, it saturates better. However, you can apply it on dry hair. If you're gonna apply it on dry hair though, you need to make sure the hair is clean. If you have products, buildup, you've teased it, it's gonna have a very uneven result. This color doesn't have developer in it. It's not strong enough to penetrate and break up the hairspray, the product, whatever you've got going on. It's gonna lay on top of it and you're gonna have holes in your hair color. I did a basic 4 quadrants with the middle part cutting the head in half, then cut the watermelon in half the other way. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting in the front because that's what I can see. If you start in the back or the front, just make sure you're sticking to the front 2 quads. For example, if I start here, I want to do these 2 first, not this one and this one. You always want to start either with these 2 or with these 2. I started with my money piece and did that little band of super yellow because that needed the most help. So it's best to target areas that need the most work first. That's usually going to be your root area. You can go through and apply it on all the roots and then swipe it through the ends. The goal is just to get it on as quick as possible. You don't have to sit there and paint this on, Bob Ross it, really making sure it's on there, get it on there, and then take the comb and comb it through. Because your hair is wet, if you're choosing to do towel dried hair, it's really going to saturate. You don't want to take huge sections, but you do want to make them a little bit larger than normal. And you can absolutely just take a bottle and start pouring this on and massaging it in. For example, in the salon, usually how this works is we'll bleach the hair, shampoo, condition, squeeze it out, and while they're in the sink, looking with the eyeballs, you take a bottle and just one of these, massage it in, and then start sectioning it off and brushing it. It's not going to change the parts of your hair that are darker. So if you have dimension in your hair like I did, and you have some darker tones, it's not going to change this hair color. It may deposit a tone, the violet, the blue, but it's not going to change a 5 to a 9. We're not lifting here, it's just depositing tones. So you don't have to sit there and pick out your highlights and put toner on it. You can literally just apply this to the whole thing. Processing time for this is 20 minutes, or if you have gray hair, it's up to 40 minutes. But remember, we're toning, so this isn't going to totally correct gray hair. So just know if you have a lot of gray hair and you copy this formulation, it's actually going to just tone the gray and make it a more, what's the word? It's gonna add life to the gray hair. Gray hair can be a little dull and flat. It's gonna make this shiny, more of a silver look. And no heat. If you apply heat to this, directly or indirectly, going outside, sitting, whatever you're doing, it's going to make it appear darker. So if your goal is to keep it as close to the swatch as possible, you need to stay somewhere that has an even temperature where it's not too hot. Plastic cap, did I say that? Because you don't want this to dry out. So you need to put some sort of cap over this. Once this is processed for the 20 to 40 minutes, you're going to shampoo, condition, blow dry, not blow dry, whatever you want to do. Here's what my hair looks like after this process. I actually did it yesterday. It's a lot easier for me to do the color separate. Also, if it doesn't work, we didn't waste a whole lot of time. Just the blending alone from the root to the ends, much better. It is very close to Shades EQ. The only thing that's noticeably different is the consistency is a lot thinner to me and the smell is very harsh. But if you look on the back, it lists Redken's ingredients with this generic ingredient list, and they are pretty similar. I mean, some things differ, but the most important thing is that it is acidic, which will keep your hair balanced. And what I mean by that is when you bleach your hair, you're stripping the hair color. You're going from dark to light. Hair has a pH of 3.5 to 4.5. So right here is hair. When you bleach it, you're taking it all the way here to an 11 for the most part. For reference, that's with ammonia, bleach, and soap right by the drain cleaner. So this is what happens when we bleach it. We change the pH of our hair. Bleach, lightener, whatever you want to call it, it's alkaline. So imagine your hair strand, that's perfect. Hair, when you look at it under a microscope, looks like shingles on a roof. This is gonna be bad, but kind of like this. This is what hair looks like. Ah! Just pretend that's better. When you bleach it, it's like the shingles go through a windstorm. They're all flat and now they're all like this. Woo! The cuticle is blown open. So that's why when you put color on it, it flies through that open cuticle and makes it look darker, makes your hair frizzy. A lot of things can go wrong. The pH is out of whack. Anytime we color our hair, we always want to bring our pH back home. 3, 4, 5. But we definitely don't want to keep it on an 11. We don't want to keep it wide open to let everything just come on in. It's kind of like a toner. I don't know much about skincare, but you wash your face. You do 2 cleansers, oil and cream. The face washes have different pHs. You need to bring your skin back home with a toner. The pH of your face is 5.5, I do know that. So the toner balances the pH of your face so it can stay at home base. So it's not way out here, way over there, it's in the middle so you don't have acne, flare-ups, whatever. Same thing with your hair. You don't want to keep it over here, over here. It needs to stay where it's supposed to be in this range. So glosses like these and Redken Shades EQ are acidic. They live on the opposite side of the pH scale as your hair bleach. And they're acidic because they don't lift. They just deposit. Anything that lifts, usually alkaline. Anything that deposits, usually acidic. So after you bleach your hair, lighten it, and you apply your gloss, your toner, this particular one anyway, you are bringing it back home to where it lives. So you've then balanced out your hair. When you bring the pH back home, it closes these little guys, makes it look like this. It adds shine, smooths out the cuticle, and makes hair color look more vibrant, rich, less flat. You could even use these glosses if you have darker hair. Just do a nice color refresh instead of always packing permanent hair color on top. Just do a gloss refresh. You don't need to constantly pack permanent hair color on. When you do that with dark hair color, like this, if you were to constantly pack dark hair color on top of each other, permanent, eventually it's going to start to look black. Retouch your roots with permanent color if you have gray hair. Refresh the ends with gloss. And same thing, if you're using a permanent hair color as a toner, which you can do, you still need to bring the pH back home. You can do that by applying a clear gloss or a pH balancing spray. What's it called? Redken pH Sealer. I'll put a picture up here. But it's a nice little spray that brings everything back home. And this will really help your hair color stay locked in longer, especially if you're doing darker hair colors. Now these glosses are not permanent. They are going to shampoo out. Mine usually last about 12 shampoos. It's not long, but it's such an easy process. You can do this in the shower while you're shaving your legs. I don't know, watch TV. Are you watching TV? Are you watching 90 Day Fiance? Quick little recap on this Redken Shades EQ dupe generic value products. If you're going to use it as a toner gloss, like I did today, make sure the box says Redken Shades EQ or compare to Redken Shades EQ gloss, because again, they make these in a lot of different colors. You're not using developer, you're using the liquid processing solution. You may need to grab two. For some reason, they did not have this in a big bottle at the Sally's I go to anyway. 1-to-1 ratio. So if I use a bottle of this, I'm going to fill a bottle of processing solution with this to make it equal parts. A scoop of this, a scoop of processing solution. Mix it together. Again, it's okay if it turns a darker color or purple, don't be scared. It's going to be very loose, very liquidy. You're applying this pretty quickly on towel dried hair. If it's dry, the hair must be clean. Quickly, get it on, get it on, get it on, get it on. Remember, we're not Bob Rossing it, taking our time, happy little trees. No, we're not. We're getting it on fast, so our results are even. If you're starting in the front, you're doing the front first. If you're starting in the back, you're doing the back first. You're not doing half a head here, half a head here. Pick a lane, front lane, back lane. Get it on, comb it through with a wide tooth comb. You're putting a cap on it. Processing time, 20 minutes. Remember, no heat. Heat is going to make it look darker. Up to 40 minutes if you have gray, but remember, this is a toner. It's not going to change the color of your gray hair. It's still going to be gray. Just like my blonde hair is still blonde. It's just a different tone of blonde. It's not going to lift it. It's depositing a tone. Shampoo, condition, style as normal, and you're done.